Hello everybody, I'm presenting our work, Textile, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Layout Dynamics in the Ecuadorian context. For a start, we have that micro, small and medium enterprises represent 90.89% of the total listed companies in Ecuador. Their sales account for 27.69% of total national sales. Research has explored factors benefiting or jeopardizing MSMEs. General studies cite innovation as a factor that enhances MSMEs' growth. The need for innovation and flexibility, coupled with dynamic market demand and sharp product life cycles, force the industry to explore new manufacturing paradigms. Textile companies with low productivity, excessive physical space, unnecessary movement, and transportation challenges must use lean manufacturing and optimize facility layout to solve this kind of problems. Plant layout addresses the physical arrangement of plant elements, including the machines, workstations, storage areas, and shared spaces of a production facility. We have that the facility layout problem allows to optimize the information flow of materials and people, improving the use of space, achieving flexibility to adapt to external factors, and complying with distance and worker safety rules. These benefits cannot be achieved without first knowing and studying the context of the companies, including their current needs and the laws and requirements related to the pandemic. For this work, we have as an objective to present the characteristics, variables, needs, and the general context influencing the plant layout of textile MSMEs in Ecuador through the analysis of 3 case studies. We are going to present 3 companies for this work. This information will be vitally important for researchers and companies to design and successfully implement a plant layout model that meets their needs and generates accurate results. So we have the description of the study site and case studies for the 3 studies that were made. The first one is a small family company, C1, located in Cuenca, Ecuador, which began operation in 2008. With 41 workers, the physical area of the company is 600 square meters in a rented industrial building. The second case study refers to a family microenterprise, C2, located in Cuenca, Ecuador, and the company began operations in 1983 and currently has reduced its staff to 9 workers because of the COVID pandemic. The third case study is a small company, C3. It is located in Pelileo, Ecuador, with 38 workers, and today this company is one of the most successful textile enterprises in the region. They sell slippers, and they happen to be the leader in the leisure footwear market and a prominent employer. So next, we have for the data collection and methodology, 4 stages. The first stage involved a systematic literature review based on the think methodology in order to find the tools for assessing the plan layout. The research questions in this review were: what are the assessment tools for a plan layout definition, and what variables and index are used in these tools? We used some database sources, and we selected for this literature review Scopus, Web of Science, and Cielo. For the second stage, we had Bataval, data validation. To this end, an initial questionnaire was developed. We have here with 9 categories and 6 yes or no questions. This questionnaire was validated through a Delphi method and a flexible research that helped us to validate with the total number of 12 participants. For the third stage, we have the data analysis. And we made an initial matrix which was constructed with response values per category to classify and rank the critical layout conditions. For the fourth stage, the application itself, the final evaluation tool was constructed taking into account the value scores and considering only those critical layout conditions that were higher than 0.4. So the number of questions in the questionnaire was reduced from 61 to 51. This final tool was applied to the 3 case studies. They were applied as questionnaires with the participation of the people in charge of each one of the plans. So for the results, we have a first part that consisted in the construction of the evaluation tool. And we have here the categories and their corresponding number of questions of the plan layout evaluation tool. So we have, for example, to define the type of plan layout, 5 questions. And as we can see, for each of the categories, the number of questions that were proposed. For the second stage, we're talking about the application itself of the evaluation tool and the data that was obtained after the questionnaires. The results are presented in 3 sections. We have in the first one, the overview of the data by category in each MSME case study. For the second part, we have the limitation of the indicators using the plan layout literature and contextualization to the environment based on the overlaps of the case studies. And in the third case, we have a summary of the variables and missing information in the case studies to develop a planned layout model. We can see in this table the average per category and company of the results obtained. And as it is shown, we have that the company with the most favorable results was C3 because of its order and planning. We think, or we conclude that this is due above all to the fact that this building was constructed to satisfy the company's production needs, generating significant advantages for the arrangement of its elements. And in addition, we have that the current agreements with international brands are another relevant factor driving the company to constantly improve its operations and obtain occupational health and safety certifications. On the other hand, we have that the company with the lowest average is C2, since it is a micro enterprise that had to adapt to a small first floor and a pre-existing building and has not developed expansion plans. The 3 categories that must concede with the compliance by the 3 companies were plan layout objectives with the attempt to minimize distance and cost, facility layout problem with the attempt to optimize multiple objectives based on experience and needs, and also service factor, where they agree that the sanitary, electrical, and lighting installations were in good conditions. Regarding the third part, we have the plan layout characteristics contextualized to the Ecuadorian environment. We have that the type of plan layout that best suits the textile MSMEs in Ecuador is plan layout by process, because there is a wide variety of products. And also operations of the identical nature and similar machinery need to be grouped. Production moves from one area to another and matching process stations. After analyzing the case studies, variables, and indicators, we have that Ecuadorian textile companies can analyze plant distribution by improving their layout. This proposal can look at a facility layout problem of unequal areas of quadratic assignment problem. And depending on the complexity of the problem, we have that regarding the results, we can distinguish factors in plan layout and obtain detailed information that we cannot have in the studies. Regarding this part, we have the information that is missing from the case studies and that was necessary to develop a plan layout. We have for each of the factors as material, machinery, man, movement and waiting, and service building factor, some information that was not possible to obtain. And we think that this is just because the companies don't have the tools to recollect this information. So we recommend them to do this task. As for a discussion, we have that simulation technology, flexible manufacturing systems, and lean manufacturing systems have commonly been used to design and solve facility layout problems. We have that current facility layout research is now focusing on the multidimensional issues of the dynamic facility design and attempts to change facility design philosophy. We have that for the case studies in this work, 2 companies had to stop their operations in 2020 for 2 months, and they dropped their sales to less than 20% of the total sales from before the pandemic. This generated an economic deficit that nearly caused the cessation of its operations. So these companies were forced to research and to apply tools that will enable them to be better prepared to face external factors and to guarantee the continuous flow of their operations. We have that the results show that the best established company is the C3 company, the one that was located in Pelileo. The main reasons are this company access to more financial resources and their license to produce a worldwide brand of slippers. They have a license for this. We have the factor in which all the 3 companies scored the highest was plan layout objectives. And we have that all 3 companies scored poorly in the material factor and the movement and waiting factor. Finally, we have the type of plan layout that most benefits textile MSMEs in Ecuador is the layout by processes, since it is adapted to the needs and production characteristics of this type of company. We believe that this study will contribute significantly to the project objective that was mentioned in the beginning, since we are considering the real needs and characteristics of textile MSMEs in Ecuador, and we are trying to potentially increase its applicability and to generate successful results. Finally, we have that the study's limitations include the number of companies involved as case studies. So for this reason, we recommend that for future research, the evaluation tool should be applied to a higher percentage of companies in the area in order to acquire more data and information. So we can generate a robust method in order to improve the dynamics of distribution. Thank you.